We need more kindness in our culture, in our society. I think it's so abundantly clear to me right now, and I want to make a video just putting it out there in the world so that I can add a little drop into the bucket of anger and hate and madness. And a lot of people who are confused. And I feel very clear about what we need, even though it seems unreasonable. It seems naive. It seems impossible. It seems weak compared to, let's say, winning, compared to victory, compared to defeating the other, whatever other that is, whatever victim or opponent or company or culture or religion or race or sex or political affiliation that you feel like you have to fight. This video is for people who don't feel comfortable fighting to win, like that's the only answer. It's for people who resonate with the eye for an eye makes the world blind kind of philosophy, because it's really true. Violence begets violence. In this world, if your team wins, whether you're Republican or you're America versus Iran or you're Israel versus Iran or whatever the battlefield is, or you're Iran or Russia versus Ukraine, and your team wins, that trauma you've inflicted, even, as any aggressor, I'm talking broadly. I'm not trying to pick sides in this discussion. I have my own views. But if you win by violence, then the people you defeated inherit the trauma of the violence you inflicted. It's a long game. There's no possibility of really winning. It's just for now. You win the battle. The war is never won. The war is futile. It needs to be understood. I don't know if maybe I'm part of there's a lot of woo-woo stuff out there about generations being born. It started with the age of Aquarius, right? And now there's more of people who are more in touch. I don't even look into that stuff. But I feel very sure of my position. And it's that the way the world has been, the way the world has worked for thousands of years, maybe forever, has to change for human beings to survive. For our world to survive, our world probably will survive. I think, watch the George Carlin skit about when he says, don't worry about the world and saving the trees and saving the bees. Maybe the world just had us created so we could create plastic, so it could have a nice little store of plastic in the world, and then it will just phase us out and shake us off like a bad case of fleas. That's how I feel the world will handle human beings. That's what it's doing with the global warming issue. It's killing our communities slowly. Might take 100 years. What is that in the drop of time? 4 billion years this world has been here, or whatever, however long. It's a long time, and we need to start thinking that way. We need to stop thinking in terms of our lifetime. Not even for our future kids' generations. It's because the repercussions are happening quickly. So we will feel them, the people alive now, if we don't change now. And to me, the biggest answer is kindness, and I'll make my claim. The biggest answer is to have more compassion for each other. If I can affect one person or a million people, that's in the right direction of having less anger, less hate. I can't abide people saying, yeah, just bomb them. Oh, that's the answer. Kill them. Get rid of them. They're, thinking of human life like it's nothing, like it's a GTA game. I can't stand people saying right now, I think the answer is just kill them all. Whether it's a Democrat talking about a Republican or American talking about our enemies, pick whatever one. It's just across the board. People are using very violent language very flippantly right now, like it's nothing. And we need to start checking ourselves and going, you know what? Like, a little bit about me. I traveled out of a backpack for 5 years of my life. I didn't have a residence. I lived off a motorcycle in America and Canada, and I lived in a lot of rural communities that were super red. And I spent my 20s in New York City, 6-7 years, playing in a heavy metal band in the punk metal scene with all leftist Democrats. And then I spent later years among a lot of red countries or red states and people who lean Republican. I've also traveled in 21 different countries. So I've hung out with a lot of people. I majored in anthropology in college. Didn't do me very good career-wise. I didn't pursue it. But what it did, it just shows my love of understanding. It's a curiosity thing. So that's me. The way I look at this is through experience of hanging out with people. It's very simple. I hang out with Republicans who are 70 years old or 20 years old, or punks who are 40 years old or 30 years old, gay, straight, black, Asian. I hang out in Vietnam for a few months. I hang out in Budapest, Hungary for a few months. I get a little taste of the world, and I'm not just partying or what. I'm actually learning. That's how I like to look at things. I'm kind of nerdy about the whole thing. So that's me. I'm Ryan. I live in Pennsylvania in America. So when I hear from people the violent rhetoric, like it's happening more and more, and just thoughtlessness, I don't understand why there's just certain amount of people who don't realize how spun everything is. I have a little more patience for boomers. They grew up in a world where things made sense. They were true. That doesn't mean they were true, but to them, the world made sense. The scandals were rare. Now, every day, a lie is uncovered and truth is backwards. People speak violently because it's a thought. They think it means nothing, and it means more than they think. And it's how they interact with the world. But these people, from my experience, are generally great to their families and friends, or great, good, whatever range. They're not bad. Nobody wants violence. The other thing, I studied martial arts for 3 years. I did kickboxing. I sparred twice every week, 5 rounds a session, and I rolled in jiu-jitsu for 1.5 years. I spent years doing that, not really because I loved winning and violence and wanted to kick anybody's ass. I wanted to raise my level of protecting myself and not to be bullied. And on top of that, I wanted to understand violence, and I got a really good taste of it regularly, and the mindset of violence and what it means, and how thoughtless violence is. All thought leaves your mind when you have to engage in violence. And nobody wants to, you can't solve anything with violence. Yes, you can. Of course, you think you can, but the repercussions come back at you. We're in a bigger picture. It's not one-on-one. It's all of us together. And when we fight each other, we're just fighting ourselves. Maybe it's the psychedelics I took, as a teenager, or I don't know. But it's so abundantly clear how sick it is. And that's the other side of it, is I just think it's a sickness. I think that we perpetuate this sickness. It's a thought virus to think that violence is going to solve anything, to think that winning should be a goal. I think it needs to be extinct. We need to move into cooperation between all people. That's what we need to shoot for. We need to shoot for Chinese and American and Iranian and Vietnamese and Taiwan and African countries, to all unite under trying to move forward. I don't know what that looks like. I know that right now we need defense. You can't not, you will be attacked and destroyed. So it's not like you can give away all your guns. I'm not saying that. And you need to think defensively. But our goal should be that in 20 years or 50 years or 1,000 years, this is what humankind should work towards. More compassion with each other, to listen to each other, to work together, to try and find solutions that are cooperative. We have to move beyond our reptilian base nature, because we have the option. We're human. That's the difference. That's the big difference. It's very clear. We have a side that's natural, that comes from evolution, and it's very strong, and it's involved in sex and fighting and passion and emotion. And then we have the other side. The other side is what makes us human. It's reason. It's listening. It's thinking of the greater good. It's being generous. I mean, there's examples of this in the animal kingdom, and there's examples of extreme violence. And we can choose, and we need to choose, and we need to choose health. Health for ourselves, for our communities, for our cultures, for our countries, and for our earth. Because if we're healthy, the earth is healthy. It's very simple. It's almost impossible. It feels impossible, but I swear to I have it. All it would take is the world to take any step towards compassion. It has to be something. Instead of us being obsessed with money, we become a little bit obsessed with compassion. Why? Because maybe somehow we make it a thing that people yearn for. It makes you more successful in life. It makes you something people want to be. Like, those are our heroes, not Kanye West, not Elon Musk. Billionaires, millionaires, they're not our heroes. We want people who are compassionate. And that's how I feel. I hope this reaches somebody who needs it. I'm a real person. We're being bombarded by companies and AI, and I just want to reach out on here to add a little realness and one perspective. It's okay if you feel differently. I love that. You can feel differently as long as you listen to this and want to give a thoughtful response. That's perfect. I welcome everything like that. Thank you for watching this video.